The West Fargo community is mourning the death of a student this week. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hundreds gathered tonight to remember 17-year-old Justin Oline. He attended Cheyenne High School, where fellow classmates learned of his suicide Wednesday.
It's not an easy subject to talk about, but a local group is hoping they can help anyone affected by suicide. Valley News Team's Krista Boehm explains how the Survivor Outreach Program is helping families with support.
Yeah, this is Jan. When she was in kindergarten.
10 years ago, Mary Weiler lost her daughter, Jennifer Ann, to suicide.
The first few weeks are just horrendous.
A moment that has changed the way Weiler lives, with a focus on awareness, prevention, and helping families just like hers.
It's a very unusual and hard situation for families.
She, along with the North Dakota chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, started a new program aimed at connecting people who have been affected by suicide.
We just try to help them understand that it's not their fault.
It's called the Survivor Outreach Program, where trained volunteers who have gone through it.
There's so much guilt and pain that comes with a death by suicide.
We'll visit with a family, at home, on the phone, even email. Anyone who needs someone who understands.
They meet them, they hug them, and tell them that this is not their fault, that they will be with them as long as they need them, and they can cry, and they can do whatever they want to express their feelings.
There is one thing that I always try to get across, is that it was nobody's fault. Not even the person that took their life, and that we would never blame somebody that died of cancer or of a car accident, and it's literally a health issue.
Smith says it's a needed program that works with area law enforcement. Since Sunday alone, she's talked with 4 families about whatever they need.
We've helped people find homes for the pets of the person that took their life, to finding a hotel room for family out of town, or just to be with them, and to kind of guide them through the steps of what's going on and what's going to happen next.
A special support that's been created by those who have been there too.
But we carry on. I mean, we do everything we do is in her honor and her name, and because I know that's exactly what she would do for others.
Krista Boehm, Valley News Live.
If you or someone or a loved one would like someone to talk to from the Survivor Outreach Program, you can call 412-6176. There's also a support group that meets monthly for anyone affected by suicide. You can find more information at valleynewslive.com.
Busy day for former President Bill Clinton. He made 3 campaign stops in the region today. One was in front of several hundred people in South Fargo. Clinton's visit and rally at Rowe Farm was in support of his wife Hillary's run for president. He said his wife is the most qualified candidate out there. He added that Hillary will get things done if she is president.
Everybody give their speeches, and then she'd say, okay, guys, we all agree. Now, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We need a president who's a doer now, somebody who can do.
Prior to his speech, leaders from the 3 affiliated tribes got the opportunity to meet briefly with the president.
The priority that the tribal leaders and the message that we're trying to get to the campaign is about tribal sovereignty.
Now, during his comments on stage, President Clinton gave a shout out to the NDSU Bison and former Bison and now Philadelphia Eagle, Carson Wentz.
A lockdown at the White House has been lifted after a shooting this afternoon. Authorities say a man approached a White House checkpoint with his gun drawn. He was shot by a Secret Service agent when he refused to put that gun down. The man was taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the chest. Officers recovered the man's gun at the scene. His identity has not been released yet.
A Minnesota jury has convicted a man for attacking a police officer caught on video. Police dash camera video shows the officer trying to arrest a suspect last November. The video shows the man turning around and dragging down the officer to the ground. He can be heard calling for help as he's beaten moments later. The officer's gun goes off, but nobody was hit by the gunfire. While the attack continues, police arrived to the rescue. Now, 25-year-old Lance Carr will be sentenced next month, where he faces up to 10 years in prison.
A man prosecutors say was the leader and mastermind of a widespread sex trafficking ring will serve what is the longest sentence of its kind in Minnesota history. 35-year-old Rashad Ramon Ivy was sentenced today to 58 years in prison after being found guilty on 4 counts of engaging in second-degree sex trafficking, 3 counts of solicitation, and 1 count of criminal sexual conduct. Prosecutors say Ivy recruited, enticed, and prostituted at least 7 victims to dozens of men across the Twin Cities. The previous longest sentence for sex trafficking was 40 years.
Charges have been filed against the 31-year-old driver of a propane tank that crashed into a Canadian Pacific train near Callaway, Minnesota in March. The crash happened at a railroad crossing with 7 of the 82 cars derailing. Fire broke out and it prompted the evacuation of Callaway residents. The Becker County attorney says Baya Abdella Buddha has been charged with gross criminal vehicular operation, reckless driving, and failure to stop. If he's found guilty on the most serious charge, he could spend a year in jail and could wind up paying a fine of $3,000.
The CDC says the number of pregnant women with Zika virus in the U.S. has more than tripled. It's not clear if the increase is because more pregnant women have the virus or if it's due to better record keeping, or both. The first case of Zika-related microcephaly was confirmed in Puerto Rico last week. Babies born to women with the virus can be born with abnormally small heads and suffer from abnormal brain development. The virus has been discovered in a number of countries and could reach Europe by late spring, according to the World Health Organization.
The CDC also recommends that you be cautious before taking a dip in public pools after 1 in 8 public pools tested was found to be closed down due to unsafe conditions. The CDC says you can usually find the pool's latest inspection reports on site or at your local health department. Along with bringing your own test strips to the public pool, you can do these things to make sure you and your family have a safe time swimming.
Checking that you can see the drain at the bottom of the pool, especially in the deep end. Checking that the covers on the drains at least look like they're in good repair and that they're secured. See if there's a lifeguard, and if not, is there safety equipment available? You know, like a rescue ring or a reach pole to help anybody and prevent drowning.
The study by the CDC can be found on valleynewslive.com in the web version of this story.
West Fargo High School hosts its 2nd annual museum exhibit. The Night at the Gila Museum is a chance for students to study the life of Henrietta Lacks, then put together projects on topics like bioethics, segregation, cell culture, and human experimentation in their STEM classes.
With Henrietta is she got cervical cancer, and when they were putting her through radiation and stuff like that, they took part of her cells and it became the first immortal cell line. And they didn't let her know about it. And the fact that they got away with that is insane to me.
Anderson says it's projects like these that make her consider a career in science.
A good time tonight. Class of 2016 graduated from the Boys and Girls Club of the Red River Valley. The local club hosted a Graduate from Us event celebrating participants who pledged to graduate. They are either middle school or high school or receive a certificate for completing 1 full season of volunteer work in the Fargo area, visiting college campuses and hearing about career opportunities.
We have a motivational speaker tonight talking about what they should do after they graduate from high school and what's reality versus, dreams, and to have some realistic dreams, but to shoot for the stars. And so they're very excited, and it's a fun night to celebrate.
The graduation and progression party support the focus on the academic success and inspire teens to try and stay on course.